How's it going, everyone? My name is Tayvion. I'm a senior security engineer working for Ripple. I'm also a content creator that specializes in creating content by career advice, as well as personal finance. And I'm really excited to be here because I enjoy navigating and helping people join the tech industry. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce you to the panelists today. Ashley Overman, she's a technical coach with the Fidelity's LEAP program, an 18-week immersive program for incoming technologists. She supports and mentors associates for their tech careers. Ashley also has a background in full stack engineering. Sarah Van DeMark graduated in December 2021 with her bachelor's in cyber threat intelligence and defense. She now works at Hilton as Associate Identity Access Management Analyst. So let's dive a bit deeper into that. Ashley, could you tell us more about the LEAP program and what participants can expect from this?
Sure, Tayvion, I'd be glad to. So as Tayvion mentioned, the LEAP program is an 18-week immersive training program for recent undergrad technologists. The LEAP program is hosted both regionally across the United States as well as globally in Ireland and India. I personally am an alumnus of the program, graduating in 2018. This is my 5th year. And as a technical coach, I have returned to the other side of the LEAP program, where I support our associates through our technical curriculum, which is a mixed approach of instructor-led training, learning days, hands-on projects, and different other immersive experiences. We also support our associates through individual personal challenges, whether those be in or outside of work. We introduce associates to Fidelity's mobility opportunities and pathways and provide those resources in other spaces aside from technology if these associates expressed interest in these spaces. And our ultimate goal is to ensure that our associates are prepared for their post-LEAP roles technically, as well as in terms of career development, having goals that they are working towards. We also want to provide those opportunities to explore other career paths offered within Fidelity. We offer tons of different opportunities firm-wide, including operations, learning, marketing, social media, data analytics, among others.
That's impressive. Sarah, could you tell us a little bit more about what you do? In 1 minute, can you explain your role to us like you explained to your parents who knows nothing about this field?
Most definitely. I know the name Hilton probably doesn't understand, like, how is that technology based? But whenever a guest stays at a hotel itself, the money that they pay doesn't necessarily come to us. Instead, it's more of flying the Hilton flag, the people that go in and buy one of our properties. So whenever we have a hotel employee or a corporate employee on a global spectrum come in and join our company, it's up to me and my team to help understand what roles and permissions they needed, who can access what systems. People can't access payroll for every single hotel. And then as well as making sure databases match up. So hotels across the globe have their own database, and we have to make sure it matches to what we have in ours. Again, you don't want people having permission to access things they shouldn't have access to.
Okay, that's nice. I know usually whenever we're talking about tech or technology, careers in tech, we're always thinking about big tech, the companies like Google, Facebook, etc. But let's kind of talk about roles outside of big tech and more so like different industries such as hospitality, finance, etc. So Ashley, through the LEAP program, you worked as a software engineer at Fidelity for over 3 years. Can you explain more what your role is like and what type of projects that you worked on?
Absolutely. So Fidelity prides itself in being a technical company, a financial services company that just happens to dabble a lot in technology. So post-LEAP program, when I went through it, associates are placed on teams throughout the firm that allow them to work on leading edge technology and platforms that allow us to develop unique experiences for our millions of customers globe-wide. After my personal LEAP experience, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to work on a truly full stack project, working on front-end technology, React specifically, mid-tier aspect, as well as the back-end aspect. I got to work on infrastructure hosted in AWS. I got exposure to the agile methodology, DevOps, as well as logs and monitoring technologies as well.
Oh, so from the sounds of it, you're basically working on the same things that people are working on in big tech without all of the stress. Okay, Sarah, what about you? When people think of the hospitality industry, I don't really think of tech. Can you tell us about the type of technology projects that you worked with Hilton?
Yeah, of course. It's an interesting thing because I went from an internship position into a full-time role. So I kind of gotten more experience and more into the company and what we do in technology throughout that period of time. To begin with, I work with platforms like ServiceNow, going in, logging tickets, answering demands, and granting access to applications for people to get into, again, their financial systems and other corporate areas of technology. Besides that, it's also going in and making it easier for people to get the access that they need,
Mhm.
making centralized applications so people can be like, hi, my name is so and so, and I work at this hotel or I work at this corporate office. Can I please get access to this permission? And making sure, oh, yeah, this person's approved. Let's go. Or, oh, no, you don't. I don't think so. But there's also the side in it to where making sure that data is consistent throughout, because without consistent data, you're not going to get consistent work. So a area of opportunity for me right now is working with one of our newer major hotel chains that just opened up and making sure that the data from their property with their users like name, titles, emails, everything matches up to what we have. That way there's no sign-in issues.
Mm. Yeah, and I've definitely had some of those issues. I know with the company we're currently working with, we use single sign-on, so I definitely understand that. Okay, Ashley, back to you. Why do you decide to pursue a tech career outside of big tech? Like, are there any pros that today's job seekers might not expect as they contemplate their options?
Of course. Speaking transparently, as I was also an intern prior to coming into Leap full time, I'm based out of the Raleigh Durham area. And when I was interviewing and looking for internship positions and full time positions, transparently, big tech hadn't moved into the Raleigh Durham area yet. Now we've got our larger companies, Apple, Google, that are moving into the area. But at the time when I was job searching, those big tech companies hadn't moved to the area yet. So I explored some of those alternative non-big tech routes. However, one of the pros that some of your non-big tech companies may have would be benefits. I know Fidelity offers a very comprehensive benefits package, highlighting a couple of note. Fidelity offers student loan reimbursement, fitness
Hmm.
reimbursement, 401k matching, care coordinator benefits, and these benefits are always evolving. Our benefits evolved during the COVID season for those needs as those pop up, and those benefits are constantly evolving.
That's nice. Sarah, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I would say reach out of your comfort zone. When I was first applying for my internship and looking for a career, I wasn't too sure about what to do. And my sorority big at the time, she was like, you got to go Hilton. You got to go Hilton. And I'm like, are you sure about this? And she's like, yes, just trust me. And so it was taking that leap of faith and going into a world where I wasn't too sure of what was to be expected because I just thought Hilton hospitality, but it's honestly become a big passion for me. And same with what Ashley was saying. Go in, look at the benefits, because even as an intern, one of the big things that kind of won us all over was a travel discount program. So instead of paying like $200 a night for a hotel, it was like $40 a night, which as a college student who's cooped up in a dorm almost all day long, it's nice to take a little weekend vacation in a hotel. So see what all is out there and available from each job to job and what it could benefit for you.
No, I can absolutely agree with both of you. Because I'm also in the fintech industry as well too. And for me, big tech wasn't kind of always there just because it's extremely stressful. With fintech, I kind of get the best of both worlds. You get financial side of things, but you also kind of get the innovation within like the tech and things that they're doing. So I definitely agree with both of you guys' ideas. Let's talk job application tips and interview advice. You know, we see this all the time on social media, people kind of giving out tips. Sarah, you applied first to Hilton as an intern and then converted your role to a full-time. What was the application process like, and what did you make, and how do you make yourself a successful candidate?
When I was first applying, it started off with the basic, oh, let me go on LinkedIn, I'll send in my resume and stuff. And then I heard back from a recruiter like almost directly. One
Mhm.
thing that I realized is Hilton not only interviews you based off of like your skills and getting to know you as a potential employee, But there was also kind of like a personality interview as well to see how you would interact as a group player and a team member. Because when you take and go into the workforce, you want to take and be with a team that you feel respected and heard and that you can actually get along with, or else you're not going to get the most out of your job. So, getting to know you on a very personal level is also important. So, I recommend going in as your full authentic self during the whole time. In addition, recruiters want to hear from you. If you take an email or recruiter, you're going to hear back within the next 24 hours full of enthusiasm, like, oh my goodness, this is exciting. Thank you for reaching out to me. But they will take and help you to match up your skills to an opportunity which they might think is great for you, even if you weren't looking at that one originally. That happened to me when I was applying for my internship. I was looking at one area and then the interviewer was like, actually, how about we take and switch you over to this position instead? So be open to any sort of advice or changes that they may recommend to you because they know the company very well. And looking at your resume, they'll be able to help you put yourself into a better place for you.
Yeah, no, I agree as well too. I try to tell people all the time, utilize LinkedIn as much as you can because it's extremely useful. I've received mostly all of my internships and full-time job opportunities using LinkedIn. So Ashley, a lot of students are applying to their first job and don't have formal work experience yet. What advice would you give those students to stand out in their applications? What should you put on your resume when you don't have formal work experience yet?
Absolutely. So, as part of Fidelity's plan to hire over 700 new technologists in the first half of this year, I've been fortunate enough to be part of the hiring process for our next level of entry talent, our interns and our incoming LEAP associates for this year. So, I've gotten a glimpse into some of these resumes. If you don't have any formal work experience yet, no biggie. My biggest suggestion would be to list out either side projects that you've been working on independently or school projects that you've been working on. These projects could either be in an area that interests you, in an area where I want to develop these skills that I am learning in school, or hey, I want to work with this new technology and I'm not getting the chance to work with it in school. So, any of those side projects, and just being able to talk through those projects, that logic, that setup, and the motivation behind the project goes a long way.
Okay. So what would you recommend the students do right now to level up their skill set and make themselves a more competitive applicant?
Of course. No courses in particular. Focus on finishing out your curriculum you're in and electives that interest you. Certifications, certifications are nice, but not necessarily a requirement for entry level grad students. If that's something that interests you, great, full send, full support, go for it. Side projects, tying back into my previous answer that I just mentioned, and then clubs, volunteer activities, extracurriculars. Those are always great opportunities to demonstrate leadership experience, collaborate with a team, demonstrate planning and organization if you are setting up events through a club, and build that camaraderie among your peers and classmates.
Okay. So Sarah, do you have anything to add? Were you involved in any clubs, any certifications or anything like that while in school or after graduating school? What advice would you give?
I am so excited to talk about this, honestly. When I was in college, I was a part of a club called Hack JWU. I went to Johnson Wales University. And through this club, we competed in these things called hackathons through MLH, Major League Hacking, which there
Yeah.
are 24 to 48-hour competitions to where you can go in and put your skills to the test, whether you're into software, hardware, if you're into graphic design, there is something for you to go in there and try out. And especially when you're first trying to figure out what area of cyber you're interested in, because it's a blanket term. Cyber can mean so many different things. This was what helped me to learn, like, oh yeah, I'm not the biggest software girly out there, but you know what? I do still love what I'm doing. And then another thing is for anyone out there that's interested in network engineering, Skills USA. It's an amazing club and they have a lot of technical challenges for you too through that program. Besides that, LinkedIn Learning has some great courses when going in and trying to learn out new things, as well as going in and just doing research. If you like books, books are great. You have TikTok creators like Tayvion here that helps give lessons, but it's utilizing your platform and how you learn best.
Yeah, no, I actually want to touch on that as well too, because like you, I'm also in cyber as well too. And now for those that are in college currently right now, you are interested in cybersecurity. If your school offers a CCDC club, that's an amazing way to kind of get involved as well too. It's basically kind of what Sarah was also mentioned as well with hackathons or even like blue versus red team, those things like that. And also, the National Cyber League is also great resources to hone your skills within cybersecurity as well too while in college. So yeah, I would definitely look at some of those things as well too. Ashley, what skills do you expect newly hired associates to know coming into the job versus what kind of skills will you have them training on the job?
Of course. So coming into the LEAP program, and this is included in the job description for the LEAP program, there's going to be this long list of technologies that we're going to be covering in the program. Do we expect incoming folks to know about all of the skills in this list? Absolutely not. That is our goal, to help fill in those gaps and help to prepare you for your post LEAP roles as well as roles in your career. The skills we would be training them on, as I mentioned, are those gaps in between. But the biggest thing we're looking for is that eagerness to learn, being open to learning, not just from your instructors in the program, from your technical coach, from mentors that you'll work with along the way, and even from your peers. There are folks in the LEAP program who follow a non-traditional background. Be open to learning from others with different career experience, work experience, and life experience.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Sarah, what about you? How much of the work you're doing now did you already know before? And what skills did you have to learn on the job?
Going into the world of like the internship, I did not know too much, to be honest with you. Like, I was a fresh college grad. I worked in IT for my university in telecommunications and networking, but this was a whole new realm of possibilities, to say the least. I knew the basics to SQL and then good Microsoft skills, as well as people leading and speaking skills. But when it came to the platforms we used, those were all new to me. I never really touched Microsoft SQL. I always used different forms and like variants of it. And then using platforms like ServiceNow. But you'll learn that they don't expect you to be experts in any of these areas. As long as you have that willingness to learn, like previously mentioned through Ashley, they'll help you every step along the way. And then going in and just reading resource articles, there is going to be so much documentation out there for anything that you want to know. So it's just an openness to accept it.
No, I definitely agree with that as well too. I try to tell people this all the time. Whenever they're looking at like job descriptions or anything like that. If there's like one or two things that you know on there very well, I would try to tell them apply because most of the things that they're probably asking for on those job descriptions are filler, or they probably don't even have those technologies. They just want to make sure that you have some type of familiarity with it. So no, I definitely agree with that as well. So Ashley, are there any technical interviews in your application process? What tips do you have for students to prepare?
Yes, indeed. There are technical interviews as part of the LEAP interview process. And my biggest tip in preparing for those is, even if you don't know the exact solution or the most efficient solution to the question that you're being asked, talk it out. 9 times out of 10, the interviewer wants to hear, in addition to seeing, hey, can you write code? Can you write good code? The interviewer wants to hear your thought process. They want to hear your problem solving skills and your logic skills. Give you a little nudge in the right direction. If you're on the right track, keep going. You got it. You're on the right track. But you don't have to know the exact solution. Talk it out. Pseudocode it. Talk it out. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
Sarah, could you share your experience with your technical interview with Hilton?
I was very fortunate to where I have never taken a technical interview in my life,
Lucky.
but coming on behalf of like friends that I know who have, a good thing to do is reach out to mentors as well as recruiters, because they'll help you to give you an understanding like, oh, you might be asked these types of questions or use these types of softwares. That way you can even freshen up on them like the weeks prior, and then go in, have it fresh in your mind to where you feel more confident going into the exam.
I agree with that as well too. A lot of the times you can actually probably go to either Glassdoor or even on the internet and look at some of the questions that some companies have asked some of their employees regarding their internships or even their full-time jobs. So I agree with that as well too. So guys, we're going to call this a speed round where I'm going to ask Ashley and Sarah both questions and just pretty much kind of get their input or their ideas on this particular subject. So attending higher events, valuable or not? Let's start with you first, Sarah.
Most definitely. And again, reach out to companies that you might not expect to be hiring for technology because you might be surprised by the outcome in the end.
Okay. Ashley?
Also, yes, for the exact same reasons that Sarah just mentioned, that is a hiring event is actually how I got in the Fidelity door myself. So highly recommend.
Okay. So reaching out to alumni for informational chats, do it or don't. Ashley.
Yes, I have had interested prospective associates reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask me questions about the LEAP program, and I've answered them the best I can, and I've seen names pop up in the interview process later. So
Okay.
yes.
Sarah.
Most definitely. As I mentioned, my sorority big, who was actually kind of an alumni at the time, was the one that helped me get into my internship. And still with alumni group chats, whether it be for my cybersecurity club or for my sorority, there's a bunch of people that still go on and be like, hey, we're hiring. If you're interested, send me your resume because they can be some of the best vouchers.
Okay. Thank you notes after an interview. Yes or no? No, Ashley.
I say yes. I sent one after every interview I had. So yes, they're always oh yay when you've given an interview and you receive a thank you note.
Okay. Sarah.
I agree. It's kind of going into my hospitality side, but they want to feel appreciated. And so having those little thank you notes really connects you with them personally. And it keeps you in the back of their mind, like, oh, this person was genuinely thankful for the time I shared with them.
Okay. So I have one more. LinkedIn profile, yes or no? Ashley.
Yes, just big yes. As Sarah's already talked about in one of her previous answers, LinkedIn is a great resource to ask questions to an individual in an area or a company that you're interested in potentially working for. So solid yes.
Yeah, Sarah.
I agree with her. Yes, I'm on my LinkedIn more than I am any of my social platforms nowadays, but it really helps, especially in this post-college stage with the recruitment process.
No, I'm going to actually add to this as well too. I specifically agree with this as well too. Just seeing how like things are going in this job market, just like blindly applying to jobs. For instance, if you know you kind of want to go work at Hilton or Fidelity, just submit an application directly to the company itself can be a bit harder, just because they're probably getting hundreds and thousands of applications every day. Versus if you can apply on LinkedIn and perhaps find a recruiter or a hiring manager and reaching directly out to them, you can say, hey, I applied for this position. Here's a copy of my resume. Do you think I'd be a great fit? And if they're not the recruiter, most likely they will point you into the direction of the recruiter, or they'll give you helpful tips regarding that. And I've done that quite often. So yeah, I definitely think having a LinkedIn profile is very important. All right. So we're going to open it up for Q&A. I see we actually have a few questions here already. So this question is for anyone. What would be the best way to gain entry-level experience in tech once I finish school?
I would say be open to going into doing little boot camps or taking and using LinkedIn Learning. Even YouTube can be a viable resource. There's so much out there to learn, and it all depends on like what area you're most interested in. And you could find something on YouTube or a book or a TikTok creator that'll describe it out the best for you.
I agree as well too. Ashley, anything to add to this?
Nothing to add to this one. Sarah knocked that one out of the park.
Okay. Actually, I think I want to add one more thing as well too.
Sure.
Because just depending when you say kind of tech, that's a very large domain when you're thinking about different jobs and technical experience. Because that can be software engineering, that can be security engineering, network engineering. So I guess once you're trying to gain more experience, also kind of define exactly what you want to do in the tech industry, because it's huge. It's kind of like saying, hey, I want to be a doctor. What kind of doctor?
Right.
So
Mhm.
that's also another thing as well too. Another question,
Mhm.
cover letters. Did you do them, and are they important when applying to tech jobs? That's
I did a cover letter when I applied to Fidelity back in the dark ages, I will affectionately say. Cover letters are a good introduction to yourself and your motives and why you want to work for the job that and company that you are applying for. It's a good getting your foot forward in advocating for yourself. So I would say yes.
Sarah, do you have anything?
I agree. It's a way to connect yourself personally to the company and the project. And when it comes to time for applying to jobs, it's really selling yourself. And so finding ways to do that while showing more of who you are as a person too.
That's great. And it seems like I have a question directly for me as well too. Someone asked, can I repeat the name of the cybersecurity club and the Indeed cybersecurity course? So the cybersecurity club is called CCDC. I forgot the acronym for it, but it's called CCDC. And I'm not sure with the Indeed cybersecurity course that you were talking about, but I was talking about the NCL, which stands for National Cyber League. Pretty much anyone can join it. There's various amounts of labs where you test out your cybersecurity skills. And typically after the end of the competition, they rank you gold, silver, bronze. And I've actually used this to get internships. A lot of those companies understand what NCL is, and they're pretty much, it's very impressive to do this and be able to show those results to those employers. Okay, so Ashley, I have a question for you. Someone asked,
Yes.
how can I show to a recruiter my eagerness to learn on my resume?
Eagerness to learn, um I would say that that is kind of best advertised kind of in an interview setting, because if a hiring manager or whomever is interviewing you asks you about a specific skill set or a specific technology, it's okay to be transparent and say, hey, I don't know about that, but I am willing to learn and upskill on that. That speaks volumes. If you just hit them with the, oh, I don't know, that's not good, that don't work. But if you show, hey, yes, I don't know about this skill, but I'm willing to learn about it, that will speak volumes.
I agree with that as well too, Ashley. There's been plenty of times I was in an interview and I didn't quite understand or know a topic. And I would tell them, but I would also try to figure it out based upon like context clues and the knowledge that I currently have. And
Yep.
just kind of show you the critical thinking skills with that as well too. Sometimes you may get it, sometimes you won't, but at least you tried and you was very honest about it. So I agree with that
Mhm.
as well too. So I have another question for you, Ashley. What are the requirements to be qualified for the Fidelity Leap program?
That's an interesting question. So, requirements for the Fidelity Leap position. So, a little bit more context there. The Leap program offers 4 different tracks based on 4 different skill areas. They offer the full stack engineering track, which I went through, focuses on application development, front end technologies, back end technologies, database management, and application development. Our data engineering track focuses more on big data, data visualization, data analysis, and manipulation. Our mobile engineering track is more centered around iOS and Android development, as well as front end development as well. And then our systems engineering track is more of our production support role, DevOps focus, more AWS cloud centric, focusing more on those SRE related aspects as well. So applicants will kind of generally pick which of the 4 tracks that they are interested in based on A, either their skill set, or B, their area of interest. And similar to what Sarah was mentioning earlier, if you apply for the full stack engineering track, but your recruiter says, hey, I think you may be a better fit for one of the other tracks, that's also a possibility as well. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was actually very insightful.
Awesome. Thank
Uh,
you.
okay, Sarah, would it be better to try and connect with recruiters or hiring managers? Is there a big difference?
So personally, whenever I was looking into a job, I would take and talk with recruiters because they're the ones that have more knowledge based off like all what's open within the realm itself, and will be the first point of contact for you when you are first applying for the job. So they might be able to answer questions a little bit more directly because they know of what positions are out there in the company right off the bat. But
Okay.
I don't see much of a difference between the two.
Okay, no, I agree as well too. Especially kind of starting out. I feel like the recruiter would definitely be your best friend, just because they understand Atlanta a bit more. But I guess once you get more experience into your career, I think kind of reaching out to the hiring manager probably more beneficial at that time, just because you're a little bit more experienced. But starting off, I definitely agree. The recruiter is your best friend. Okay, so this question is for anyone. Does what you learn in your skills and your skills in school matter for your job?
I say yes, and they can help you build upon. Going back quite a few years to when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of things on the business side. I had graduated with college credit in business marketing administration, but then I did a whole 360. I was like, yeah, let's go to technology. But taking and learning what areas you're best in and then building up upon those skills. So say you're more business based, maybe go into a more project management role or an analytic role, build up those ideas and skills and technology, and then you can look for a new area that you can put your focus to.
Okay. Do you have anything to say regarding this too, Ashley?
Yeah, I can piggyback on this one as well. Also, back in high school as well. I went to a very rural high school, did not offer a lot of computer science and technical classes. So I didn't really start getting my hands on technology until I started college. But I think your college curriculum is your foundation for what you're going to be working on in your career. You will most likely be working things in your career field where you're like, oh, I did not learn this in school. And that's okay. As Sarah said, it's building that foundation for what's to come.
I agree with you too as well, Ashley. Because I was a bit different. My college degree is actually nowhere near technical at all. But I like to kind of teach myself a lot of different things, but I definitely can say the information that you are going to learn in college is definitely more so foundation. It's meant for you to just kind of get the basics of things, and then once you leave that, then you expand your skill set a little bit more based upon those foundations. Huh. Okay, so we have another question. What is the best way to start a personal project? I am in the beginning of my degree, so I don't really have much coursework for projects or research topics at the moment. Do you have any advice?
Yes, hackathons, as I mentioned earlier, because when I was first starting off, I wasn't too sure what I was doing. And this kind of helped me to learn, okay, here's something that I can challenge my software skills in. Here's something I can challenge my hardware skills in. And kind of getting a better knowledge of like, oh, this is what really interests me the most, as well as like building up skills in general.
Ashley?
I can piggyback as well. If you're not sure where to start, look at areas that interest you. If you know that you've always kind of like, example, front end development or user experience designer, things like that. Start doing those LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, those courses, and be like, okay, this is a starter project to get your feet wet to get started, and then expand on that kind of integrally as you start going through your college career. And it's okay if the course of your project changes over time, if you scrap it and start fresh, or revisit it after a semester or two of school as you continue to expand your skills.
Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite questions. Can you still apply or search for opportunities while you're still in school, or is it better to wait to graduate? I guess I'll take this one first then. Okay, so for me, it is imperative that you start applying to jobs before you graduate. Me personally, I would typically say it's best to start applying to jobs probably the summer of the year that you're going into your senior year. Because a lot of times whenever people are starting to recruit, the summertime is typically they're sending out their offers and they're expecting you to probably start around August or sometime like that. So you typically want to make sure that you are the first one in line to get apply to those jobs, make sure you're within the time of the deadline for those particular programs. And yeah, you the last thing you want to wait is until you graduate. That's when is it what post-grad depression kicks in. You feel like you're not really, you spent all this money on a college degree, and you're like, I can't find a job or anything like that. The reason why it's so difficult to find it is because you waited the last minute to try and apply for jobs. Sarah, Ashley.
I can definitely piggyback on this one as well. Internship experience or work experience ahead of time while you're in college could increase your chances from a internship to a full-time conversion, like I was. In my senior year of college, I had my Fidelity offer, and I was helping my friends who were in panic mode revise their resumes and go, Ashley, I don't have any internship experience. Help me fix my resume and get a job. This was March or April. We graduated in May. So having that work experience while you're in college definitely gives you a more competitive edge.
Agreed.
I agree with Ashley on this 100%. Going in, and it's like I found myself in a very good position. I was already set to graduate a semester early. And so I went into my internship, and because it was so close to the time of my graduation, they extended my internship out till the end of the time. But then they were able to create that full-time position for me after I finished with graduating. But I do have quite a bit of friends that didn't take that internship and are still trying to find jobs to this day. So any opportunity you get, especially when it's internship based before you graduate, take it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so this is another question. That's a very great question. Do you have a major in computer science? And do you have to have a major in computer science in order to get a tech job, or is a minor good enough?
I can answer this one. No, for the LEAP program specifically, a major in computer science is not a requirement. We have majors, we've had math majors, we've had computer engineering majors. So we do have some majors that are strictly not computer science majors. So the LEAP program does look for those STEM majors. So I hope that helps.
Okay, sounds great. So we have a question for me and you both, Sarah. Someone said, what are, in your opinion, what are the top cybersecurity skills to learn right now?
Let me find my unmute button. It all depends on what area you're interested in. So for some people, it might be going in and learning all the different virtual machines and like the background and like forming your own like software. Or it could be taking and learning, oh, this is how to do pen testing. Oh, this is network engineering 101. So it's all about finding your niche and then going in and looking for the resources behind it.
Mhm. Okay, thanks for sharing that. For me personally, in my opinion, I feel like cloud or cloud security is extremely important. Just kind of like with me and my experience with me seeing where a lot of companies are kind of moving to. Most environments are 100% cloud. So understanding cloud, understanding fundamentals, understand how to secure it or how to be able to build those services is very imperative. Because at the end of the day, whether it's networking or security, DevOps, all of that is going to be built into the cloud, and you're going to have to know how to do that at some point of time in your career. So for me, I think that's probably a very important skill to learn right now. And actually pays a great amount of money as well too. So that's whether it's Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or even AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Okay, another question for you, Ashley. Is there a such thing as too many certifications when working in a tech role?
No such thing. Rather than trying to accumulate the big list of certifications, the never-ending list, I would prioritize the ones that you think would benefit you most, either in your day-to-day role or the overall market. Some of the big ones that I would suggest are your cloud certifications, your AWS or your Azure. I know Kubernetes is making a bit more of
Yes.
Kubernetes is becoming the next big thing. So
Yes.
Kubernetes would be a good one. And then folks
Exactly.
within Fidelity, other folks have done Java certs as well. So those are the main ones that I have heard of within the Fidelity sphere that are the most popular.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with everything you just said, especially regarding cloud and Kubernetes. Kubernetes in itself is extremely hard to learn, but once you learn it, you've learned it. How about you, Sarah? Do you have any takes on this as well too?
Something that I have been like taught is look and see what platforms are big to learn within companies. Look at different job postings. And then when you see like something that's repetitive, like, oh, Kubernetes are becoming big right now, taking and seeing what you can learn about them there.
Okay, so this is another question for anyone. Are there other internships program you would recommend to students that have not completed their undergraduate degree yet? I wouldn't know of anyone specifically. I know a lot of companies have their own particular internships program. So just depending on what company you are interested into, I would say
Mhm.
kind of look into that company and figure out what their internships or even undergraduate full-time conversion programs are as well too.
Mhm. I know
Uh,
the Fidelity internship sphere. This is not just speaking for technology. We have internship opportunities firm-wide. I know there's HR and marketing and accounting and finance interns as well. In addition, I believe that most of the Fidelity internships are catered towards students who are in the process of getting their undergraduate degree, or if an associate is pursuing their master's degree and has completed their undergrad degree. So that would be what I would suggest for, again, from the Fidelity sphere.
Okay. Have anything to add, Sarah?
I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay. And this is another interesting question. What do you suggest someone that's starting undergraduate at a university and still doesn't know yet what they want to do in a tech job? Would an informational science and technology degree get them far in the job market? Huh. I actually answered this one as well too. So the thing with informational science and technology, I'm not really aware of exactly that particular degree. It really just kind of depends on your coursework in regards to that. And the thing when it comes to like college degrees or anything like that, it's typically just a check mark. Like your degree is not going to be the end all be all for what you would like to do within your technology career. Because the thing is, you know, previously before, the degree is just a foundation. You can have a degree in political science and say, hey, you know what? I want to do identity access management like Sarah. Okay, well, you can go learn identity access management on YouTube or Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning. So whenever you get your degrees, I mean, it is can be helpful for your foundation, but don't allow your degree major, whatever it is you want to call it, dictate how far you want to make it in your job market. You can always pivot, you can always change, you can always learn new things, you can always elevate your skill set. As long as you're willing to kind of like put in the work to do it and take the time out that's needed to do it, you can go as far as you want to go.
I agree with this. Within Hilton, I can speak upon personally. When you enter into a job, there's a lot of fluidity within the company. So, say you find an analytics area within your realm with your degree, you can take and build up those analytics skills and then move to like an analytics department in a different side. So, it's like, say you're in analytics with marketing, you can take those analytics skills and move into technology that way.
Ashley, you have anything to add to this as well?
I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay. I have one more. I think we have room for one more question. And let's see. Okay. Do most internships give us a chance to get a full-time job within the company we are interning at?
Speaking for Fidelity, yes, interns are given the offer to convert into full-time associates. I am an example of such. You do have to go through, you do go through an interview process from conversion from intern to full-time at Fidelity. It's not just a yay, you're in because you're an intern. No, you've still got to go through the interview process and all of that as well. But Fidelity definitely does offer our interns the opportunity. I believe last I recall, we have around a 40-ish% intern conversion rate, if I remember correctly.
That's pretty good. Yeah, and the same as well too. Most of the companies that I have worked or even interned for also kind of gave me full-time offers. So I would say majority of them do from my experience. Sarah, well, Sarah also was converted.
Yeah, I was a convert from intern to full-time employee, and same was my classmate who now works in networking for Hilton as well. So you see it happening in all departments.
Okay, one more question, Ashley, or even also you, Sarah. What are some tips to make yourself stand out in the interview process?
I'm gonna pull on Sarah's line. Be your true, authentic self. Bring yourself to the table. You don't have to be stiff and formal and professional the whole time. You can keep things lighthearted, crack jokes with your interviewer if that's the vibe. Again, be authentic. Don't be somebody you aren't. Be authentic. And like I said, it is okay to be transparent if you're asked a question and you don't know the answer. So that would be my biggest tips.
Yeah, I agree as well too. I know personally for me, whenever I am in interviews, I try to steer away from having an interviewer grilling me with questions. And the way I typically do that is I try to find like a common ground regarding like a topic that we're talking about. And turn into a conversation, show them that
That's
you're really
it.
passionate about this. And before you know it, the interview flies by extremely fast and they've gotten so much information out of you that the question that they originally had for you may not have covered everything that you just talked about.
Yep, make it a conversation. That's exactly it.
Sarah, anything to add?
100% with what they just said. Be yourself, be authentic, find ways to show off your skills and make it a conversation. That way it doesn't feel like it's just one-sided answering questions. They want it to feel as comfortable as possible when you're talking with them.
All right. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it back to you, Sunny.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much all again for joining us. Everyone, please join me in the Q&A box. Just type a thank you, express your appreciation for our panelists today, taking their time to answer all your questions. And if you have a moment, please also take 30 seconds to just fill out our survey in the chat so we can bring you more awesome events like this in the future, and follow Handshake on Instagram as well for more event announcements. So that is all we have for you today. Thank you all so much and have an amazing rest of your week.
Thanks for having us.